Let's talk about kwargs in Python. Asterisk asterisk kwargs is a special syntax in Python that allows us to pass an undefined number of keyword arguments into a function. So it's just like args, but for keyword arguments instead of positional arguments. And also, just like args, you can call the kwargs parameter whatever you want, but kwargs is conventional because kwargs stands for keyword arguments, while args stands for arguments, or positional arguments. So let's define our greet function, and it'll take kwargs as an argument. Inside the function, we'll iterate over kwargs.items, so for every name and greeting in kwargs.items, then we will do stuff. But first of all, I just want to say, kwargs.items, if you remember, returns a list of key value pairs. Kwargs is treated as a dictionary. Unlike args, which is treated as a tuple, this is a dictionary. Kwargs.items, the .items method for dictionaries, returns a list of key value pairs. So kwargs.items, for example, if we were calling greet and it was arg1 is equal to hello, and then arg2 is equal to world. If that's the case, then kwargs.items would actually return something similar to this. As you can see, this is a list containing tuples, and for every tuple in this list, the first item is the keyword arguments label, and the second item is the value. And so for every one of these items, we will get the personalized greeting. Okay, so to explain this a little bit more, like I said, this gives us a list of tuples, where each unique tuple contains a key value pair. So in this case, the key is the name, the value is the greeting. Printing kwargs.items will actually show you what I just showed you before. So if I just decided to greet John is equal to hello, and then Paul is equal to welcome, we get this list of tuples, and the first item is the label, the second item is the value. And so as you can see, in this for loop, we are iterating through a list that contains tuples. This section, that is called name, greeting, is actually a tuple, so you could write it like this, but it's just not conventional. But this is a tuple. And so every time we iterate to the next tuple in the list, name will equal the first item in the tuple, and greeting will equal the second item in the tuple. In this program, the keyword argument's name is the person's name, so that'll be this, and greeting is the second value. So now we can actually just test this out and try to greet John, and that'll be hello, so he'll say hello John. This one will be Paul, and that's equal to welcome. George is equal to hi. And now after calling greet, you can see that we get all of these desired results. Hello John, welcome Paul, and hi George. And we had no idea what these parameter values would actually be. They are just the name every time we go to the next value. If we ran this again but printed kwargs.items, we'll see that when we iterated through this, we got John and hello for the first one, so we printed hello John, just in that reverse order. The next time we got Paul and welcome, so we printed welcome Paul, and then hi George. Kwargs can be used in combination with regular function parameters and args. So when used together, these parameters must be in this order: regular parameters, args, and then kwargs. So let's pull up our exact example again, but let's change some things. So we'll define greet, and we can add args and kwargs, but in this case we'll name it names and greetings. And for every name in names or args, so this is the args version, we will check to see if the name is in the greetings or kwargs. And if it is, then we will greet the person normally. So here we're going to print greetings and the current name inside this dictionary, and then the name of the person. And if not, we will just print a default greeting, and hello will be the default greeting, and I'll just say hello name. And if this part's confusing to you, we are just referencing the name of the person in the greetings or kwargs dictionary. And now we can greet these people. I'm going to show you examples with people that do have their respective greetings and other people that don't, so that we can get this line to show up. So we'll greet John, Paul. So these are the asterisk names, George, and let's do Alice. And now we'll say John is equal to welcome, and Paul is equal to good day. And these other people, George and Alice, don't have specific customized greetings. And what this is going to end up doing is, once we run this, it'll say welcome John, good day Paul, and hello for both George and Alice. In this case, John and Paul have their respective kwargs, or keyword arguments. So if the name is in the kwargs, so we have for every name, so for every one of these, then we will check if one of these names is one of the dictionary's keys. The dictionary is called greetings. And so if that name was given, so over here, if it was given, then we print the customized greeting message for the person. And if we didn't give a respective kwarg, then we will just print the name instead of giving them a customized greeting. And so that's how that works. For a more simpler example, args is represented as names, and kwargs is represented by greetings. Each name is checked against the greetings dictionary. If a specific greeting is provided, it's used, otherwise a default greeting is given. We can use the double asterisk operator, or the dictionary unpacking operator, to unpack dictionaries when calling functions, just like we use the single star operator to unpack lists and tuples. So let's define a function that takes two arguments. It'll be introduce, and it'll take a name and age. No kwargs or args in this case. And let's print my name is name, and I am age years old. Now let's create a dictionary that matches the function's parameters. Person, that's the dictionary. It's equal to name, and that's John, and then their age is 30. Now let's unpack the dictionary into the function using the double asterisk from kwargs. So introduce, and then we will unpack person. And so here we get, my name is John and I'm 30 years old. In this example, the dictionary person is unpacked by asterisk asterisk person into separate keyword arguments for the introduce function. This shows that double asterisk is like the single asterisk, but instead of unpacking singular elements, like elements from lists or tuples, or elements meaning positional arguments from a function, the double asterisk unpacks key value pairs, like dictionary items or keyword arguments, treating the keyword argument as the key and the parameter value as the value in the pair. Now I know I'm trying to explain every time how the unpacking is working, but all you really have to know is when you're trying to unpack something, right, you just say, okay, we want to unpack person, so what I think in my head is unpack person, and that's it. Basically, we are just taking this packed dictionary and unpacking it, and as long as it works, then we have successfully unpacked them. But I explain what the unpacking actually does under the hood, just so that you can understand it first. Remember, kwargs only collect keyword arguments, not non-keyword arguments, meaning positional arguments. If we try to use positional arguments with a function that only accepts kwargs, we will get an error. Let's use our greet example with kwargs. If we were to just say greet John, we'd get an error, because kwargs requires keyword arguments, so you would have to have something here, like x is equal to John or something, but you have to have a keyword argument. And so if you wanted to just type something like this, with only positional arguments and no keyword arguments, then just use args. And if you're confused about which one you should actually use when creating your functions, if you don't know how many, so let's just pretend that this doesn't exist here, and pretend that we already have a function called greet, okay? If we wanted to make a function that had no idea what the keyword arguments would be labeled, so x, and we also had no idea how many, you would use kwargs. Because with kwargs, you can actually access the labels to each of these arguments. But if you're not going to have any use for actually looking at the label of these, then just use args. Because if you still have no idea how many there's going to be, you can still use args, just there's no need for kwargs. The strength of kwargs lies in its adaptability. From handling an unknown number of keyword arguments to unpacking dictionaries, kwargs is an indispensable tool for writing neat, efficient Python code. In your Python journey, you'll find that kwargs, along with its sibling args, can make your functions more flexible and capable. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned for the next video, where we'll dive even deeper into Python.